we have unearthed in the country have continued to rise. While there are countries in other parts of the world that have so far hit their infection peaks, experts suggest that Kenya, and indeed many countries in Africa, may now be inching towards their peaks. As the virus continues to spread in our country, our appeal to our people remains that to curtail the spread of the virus, we must adopt a higher level of individual responsibility. Each and every one of us must accept to do their part and observe the containment measures and regulations as advised by the government. Strict adherence demands that we socialize less to reduce our chances of contracting the virus. Let's think of it this way. The more we restrict our movements or stay at home, the less we are exposing ourselves, and the more we are protecting our families and our loved ones. This has worked for others. It can also work for us. Observing these measures, of course, comes with a cost to all of us. It's not easy. We have to give up many of our freedoms and desires. The slowdown of the economy has also affected each and every one of us. And in certain cases, it has adversely affected those of us who are vulnerable and need to live from day to day. These are sacrifices we have to make and bear with until the spread of the virus is sufficiently contained. We have consistently informed you that the virus is now firmly established in our communities. This reality is supported by the numbers we record every day. Let's take a reflection on the data that we have gathered so far. 3,106 out of the 3,457 confirmed cases are local transmissions. This means that local transmissions from this cumulative number account for 89% of the cases. If we look at the counties, in terms of the number of confirmed cases, cumulatively, Nairobi leads with 1,546, accounting for 44.7% of the total number of confirmed cases. Mombasa follows with 1,020, approximately 30% of the total cases. And we are now seeing Busia move on up to third place with 308 cases, or approximately 9% of the total cases. We have other counties that follow, Kajiado at about 3% of the cases. And we're also seeing increasingly more and more of our counties joining the ranks of those counties with confirmed cases. As of today, we have 38 out of the 47 counties have reported COVID-19 cases. This, you can see, is only a matter of time before all the counties report positive cases. Of course, this is a worrying trend that requires serious interventions at all levels. In fact, you can see that the community transmission is now moving out of the metropolitan areas, urban and peri-urban areas, and is moving into the counties. Hence, the need for the country to respond to this pandemic as one. That means the national government and the devolved units need to work together in order to control this pandemic. As a ministry, we have worked and will continue to work very closely with county governments to upscale the level of preparedness at the county levels. Indeed, a lot of work has been done to upscale the county level preparedness. Most of the counties now have dedicated isolation and treatment centers for COVID-19. This is important because it creates room for other non-COVID-19 cases to be managed in separate facilities. I want to thank the counties, the county governments for this achievement and to appeal to them to do even more as we anticipate an upsurge of infections in the coming days. Turning to COVID-19 statistics, I want to report to you that over the last 24 hours, we ran a large pool of tests, 3,503 samples, of which 152 samples tested positive for the virus. The cumulative number of tests that we have conducted so far is at 112,171, and the total caseload or confirmed positives in the country is 3,457. All the positive cases, 152 positive cases, are Kenyans. 116 of these are males, 36 are females. The youngest is 2 years old, and the oldest is 65 years old. Nairobi accounts for 70 cases out of these 152. Mombasa, 41 cases. Busia, 16. Kiambu, 9. Kajiado, 4. Machakos and Migori, 3 cases each. Kisumu, 2. While Taita Taveta, Narok, Nakuru, and Uasin Gishu have 1 case each. If we go down to the sub-counties in each of these counties, begin with Nairobi with its 70 cases. They come from Embakasi, 21, Starehe, 9, Makadara and Kamkunji, 6 each, Kibra, 5, Mathare, 4, Dagoretti North and Embakasi West, 3 cases each, Embakasi East, Roysambu, Langata, Kasarani and Westlands, 2 cases each, Dagoretti South, Embakasi Central and Embakasi North, 1 case each. The county of Mombasa had 41 cases, which come from Nyali, 14, Mvita, 10, Likoni, 7, Kisauni, 6, and Changamwe, 4. Busia, the 16 cases in Busia are all of truck drivers from Malaba point of entry. In Kiambu, the 9 cases are from Ruiru, 6, Thika, 2, and Kikuyu, 1. Kajiado recorded 4 cases coming from Kajiado Central and Loitoktok, 2 cases in each of these areas. In Machakos, the 3 cases are from Athi River, 2, and Moala, 1. While in Migori, the 3 cases are from Suna West, 2, and Suna East, 1. In Kisumu, the cases are from Kisumu Central, 1, and Kisumu East, 1. While in Uasin Gishu, the 1 case is from a truck driver at Tarbo. We mentioned 1 case in Narok, and it is from Narok East. In Nakuru, the 1 case is from Nakuru West, and the 1 case from Taita Taveta is from Voi. We're happy to report that we have also discharged 57 patients from various hospitals, bringing the total number of recoveries to 1,221. Unfortunately, we have also lost 4 more patients to the disease, bringing the total number of case fatalities to 100. To us, every death is a tragedy, and our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends that have lost their loved ones. The numbers of infections and those that have succumbed to the disease point to the importance of observing the containment measures. This is the surest way of ensuring that we limit these numbers and contain the spread of the virus. Finally, I want to reiterate the issue of cross-border truck drivers. As you have all witnessed, we have seen snarl-ups at our border points, particularly the border points with Uganda, Busia and Malaba. And to a large extent, these snarl-ups are caused by truck drivers not following the directives that have been issued in terms of not embarking on their journey before they have a COVID-19 free certificate in their possession. We want to appeal to drivers and their employers and those loading cargoes onto the trucks that these drivers are driving, that these trucks should not hit the road until the driver and the crew of those trucks are in possession of COVID-19 free certificates. There are a number of centers that have been outlined in the guidelines where truck drivers can be tested and obtain their results and certificates from before they embark on their journeys. We appeal again that we observe these procedures so that we do not create this traffic snarl-up. I want to appeal to all truck drivers to strictly adhere to the protocols already issued. For the avoidance of doubt, let me restate that we have said many times before. All cross-border truck drivers must ensure they get tested 48 hours before they commence their journey and acquire a COVID-19 free certificate. This is to ease processing at the border points and to ensure that there is no congestion. Once again, we urge all truck drivers and owners of trucks to familiarize themselves with the protocols which are available on the ministry's website. Before I wind up, I want to comment on a question that came up yesterday during the briefing, which happened at KICC. And the question was with respect to the opening hours of restaurants and eateries now that the curfew time has been moved up from 7 to 9. I think our response was that there were instructions that would follow as to the opening time for restaurants, that this was under discussion at that time. We anticipated that because the curfew has been pushed up, naturally the hours of operation of the restaurants and eateries would equally be pushed up. For now, the closing hours for restaurants and eateries is 5 p.m. We want to correct that, it's 5 p.m. However, this is under discussion, and as soon as decisions are made as to when the cutoff time is, it will be communicated at that time. Thank you, and let me now invite Dr. Kuria perhaps to say 1 or 2 words before we take some questions.
Thank you, Kas Rashid, for the detailed brief. It's very to talk about today was what was biting issue has been clarified. Maybe the only thing that we want to clarify to the general public is still the use of the mask. Through the week, I recall we have been talking about the use of the mask, the new WHO guidelines with regards to the elderly and the vulnerable. But really, what we need to emphasize as a ministry is to urge Kenyans to notice the rising numbers of COVID-19. Kaz has already indicated that in Africa, indications are that we are nearing our peaks now. We are actually just starting to notice that we are getting into our peaks. So as we get to those peaks is to remind Kenyans again that the infection is still here with us, the numbers are increasing, and whatever it is that one needs to do, we are urging maximum responsibility from each one of us. The use of the face mask is one of the easiest containment measures that has been put in place. Unfortunately, some of us put on their masks, but what we call it is at half mast, so that it is at the chin level, or is the wrong mask, or no mask at all. So as we get into this surge, we'll urge Kenyans to at all times wear your mask if you are in a public place. And more so if you suspect that you're going to be in a crowded place. And we are urging that if you walk into a shop or a supermarket or a restaurant and whoever is serving you is not wearing a mask, remind him or her that he or she is a risk to you. Remind him or her to wear his or her mask to protect yourself. On the other hand, if you are the vendor at the supermarket or the shop, or the restaurant, or the mama mboga, and whoever is coming to you does not have a mask, remind him or her to protect you, to wear the mask. So, dear Kenyans, if you were to go by what the rest of the country is experiencing, South America, for example, I don't want to scare anyone, but if the mask is going to help us not get there, this is a time that each of us takes individual responsibility. I protect you and you protect me. Thank you, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Caroline Kinyugo Moora from Inoro TV. My question is in regards to complaints arising from residents of Limuru, Rironi, and Kikuyu. They're saying that the restriction points in Mutarakwa, Rironi, Tigoni, and Kawaida have been restricting their movements within the county. What's your comment on that? Thank you.
Oh, thank you. My name is Austin Ageo from K24 TV. My question is about the popular Ohangla musician that you know is called Bernard Onyango. And we understand that his samples were taken on Thursday. So we're just asking if the results are out and what's the outcome, and considering the fact that his funeral was very indecent, according to most of us. Thank you.
Okay. Yes. That's good. Thank you. Caroline, you mentioned the restrictions of movements in that area of Limuru, Rironi. I can only imagine that that must arise from the fact that when the restricted movement was placed on Nairobi County, you know very well that it is not just Nairobi County. It is the larger Nairobi metropolitan area. and this extends in all directions, all the way. I would imagine if we are going towards, on the northern corridor, it probably extends all the way to Limuru, because we know that that forms part of the metropolitan area of Nairobi, where people still live there but come to commute to Nairobi. Likewise, Kitengela, Athi River, and all of those areas. So I think that those issues may be related to those boundaries that have been placed there. And unfortunately, maybe perhaps people are not being allowed to move from that boundary, that encloses Nairobi onto the other side. Probably that, I think, are the issues that are arising there. Ageo. Yes, I read today about this Ohangla musician who I understand was already, the casket was already put in the hole and buried, but the fans and the villagers came out and pulled out the casket to retain it until such time that they can send off the musician. In terms of the test, as you say, a test was taken on Thursday. That is news to me too. I do not know what the fate of that test is and what the outcome is if one did actually arrive at the lab. Perhaps Kuria might have a response or no response to that. However, I want to state that we have put in measures to protect everyone. And what we saw happen there went against the measures that have been put in place, because you could see the way people were congregating. They pulled out a casket. If indeed it was COVID-19, then that situation created an undesirable situation where the virus is likely to spread. So we want to urge Kenyans, please do follow the regulations, even when it is your loved ones or your idols who are the victims of the disease. If the burial is conducted in a way that indicates that there is suspicion or confirmation that it was a COVID-19 case, please, Kenyans, let us follow the laid down procedures. Let us not take the law into our own hands and in the process expose many of us to this disease. So we don't want to see a repeat of situations of that nature. But if the results are out, in due time we shall know what the outcome of those results are. Korea, do you want to say one word about that? Okay. No, he doesn't have any information either, so we'll wait and see once we are able to get more information on this. Thank you very much. I can see that the rain is coming down just in time. Thank you for your time.
And this, I just want to inform you that tomorrow we will not be having the update here. That is tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. The update for tomorrow will be provided in Othaya, in Nyeri, and the one for Monday will be done at Nyahururu. So tomorrow, you may engage with other activities, but certainly will not be giving that update here at the same venue. So for those who may wish to go to Nyeri, please, you're welcome. Those who wish to go to Olkalau on Monday, again, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Invite them. They should come.
Of course. We have correspondence.
Okay.
Coronavirus COVID-19 is a respiratory virus spreading across the world. The infection is spread from droplets of coughing and sneezing of an infected person, touching or shaking hands, or being in contact with contaminated surfaces or objects with the virus. The signs and symptoms are fever, coughing,